Hello, welcome back to Saturday's Kids. Now, for those of you new around here, one of the features on the channel is a thing called No More Heroes Anymore. What that basically is, it gives the people out there, like yourself, a chance to come on and talk about your chosen subculture, whatever it may be. We've had a few on so far, and today we've got a man called Ian who's going to talk us through his subculture upbringing, mod. Now, we have had a mod on before, Dennis, who was an original 60s mod. Do take a look at that video, well worth a watch. But Ian is a second generation mod. And what that means is, the second generation sort of came around about late 70s and went into the 80s. Second generation mod. Far different lifestyle to Dennis. Do watch on, very interesting chap. Got a lot of interesting things to say. You may relate to one or two things. So, without any more ado, I'm going to say, like somebody once famous said before, Ian Chatterley, this is your life. Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Good morning, Mark. My name's Ian Chatterley.
We spoke before on one of the videos that I did, I think it was Western Supermare.
We did, yeah.
But today is a slightly different reason.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the features on Saturday's Kids about the British subcultures.
Yeah.
And your particular chosen subculture is...
Mods.
Mods. And how long have you been into it, roughly?
Roughly about 35, 40 years. Quite a long time.
So you're part of the second generation mods?
Yeah, I would call it that, yeah.
So, go on then, how did you get into it? Was it Quadrophenia?
No, actually wasn't. The first time I saw that film when I was about 16. I got into it through just seeing the local mods at the park and people riding around on scooters, and going to be grandparents in Worcestershire and seeing people on scooters there as well, mods, and I just really liked it, and I thought, I'm going to do that when I get older, and that's what I did.
So roughly what sort of age was you then?
I would say from the age of around 12, when I was still at school, but started getting more into buying clothes and things when I was 13. My 13th birthday, actually. I got my first Lonsdale cycling top, and
Oh, that's cool.
I think it was a pair of jam shoes as well from Melandis, if I remember.
At 13?
Which me mum didn't really want me to have because she thought they were a bit clownish, but yeah, and tight trousers, stay press. Yeah.
I think I had a fishing rod when I was 13.
Did you? Yeah, I had that as well, actually. Yeah.
You were spoiled.
Yeah, I was.
So in those days, what was that be, 82, 83? What sort of era are we talking?
Yeah, around that period, yeah. Yeah, still at school, and just being different at school than what a lot of people were. There was a few mods around at school, but yeah, I stuck with it, whereas they didn't. They got more into trainers, and that wasn't for me.
I was going to say, at that time, I mean, the British subcultures just prior to that, really, I suppose, would be like the Rudies, the skinheads, lots of mods, obviously.
Yeah.
But 83, 84, it was changing again, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we still sort of had a lot of problems, as you know, in Birmingham with different other fashions and different, like skinheads and that. There was always a few sort of run-ins with them, skinheads, the rude boys, and your trendies and things like that, which was a bit strange, really. But you couldn't really walk around Birmingham in a parka, and you'd obviously get targeted, and so would they, for wearing docks and braces. So it worked both ways, really.
Well, you say the trendies. To be fair, that your era as such.
Yeah.
It was football casuals, basically, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And to be fair, some of them were quite smart. They had their Farrah trousers and their nice Piacardin shoes and things like that, and nice tops as well. So they wasn't all that bad. It wasn't them that we really had any problems with as such.
So Birmingham at that time, it was a frantic place, to be fair. You got the changing over of I think the football casuals pretty killed off a lot of the subcultures. Yeah,
it did. Yeah, definitely.
But there was still mods about in Birmingham.
There was, yeah.
So where did you go to get your clothes and things?
Well, obviously we had places like Cavern and things like that. And as I sort of progressed from what you would call, what we said was an 80s mod or a 60s mod, I started getting into more tailoring then, where I used to go to places like Stage 2 Tailoring on Her Street, I had my first pair of hipsters made, and I think they were about £35. They were made by a guy called George Saunders, and he was a very good tailor. He's not with us any longer, but once you've had that one pair made, you want another pair. You want pinstripes, and it just went through that. In Oasis Market, we had a place called Envy, and she used to do all button-down shirts. As I was saying, the shoes were really difficult to find. Shoes were a massive problem. But as for the rest of it, we got by. We all look smart.
Did you dabble in the Birmingham markets, where a lot of that was material and you had to make your own, basically?
I did, yeah. We used to find old original Gabici tops from there, button-down shirts again. You get somebody that would have dead stock hipsters and things like that, and paisley shirts, and there's some good record stores there as well, which I got some very good bargains from.
Well, I was just going to touch on that. So, as a sort of mid-80s mod, what was the mod music at that time? The Truth? I guess 9 Below Zero had changed to The Truth.
Yeah, it would have been all stuff like that. Strangely, I wasn't really into sort of mod revival bands as such. I was more into like your Kinks, the Small Faces, the Who, the Jam, I suppose, things like that. Appealed more to me. It was as I started getting older and I met a good friend, and he taught me an awful lot about music, because he had a phenomenal record collection at the age of about 15, 16. And it just went from there, really. He taught me a lot,
And you was lucky in Birmingham because you had two amazing record places. You had the markets, which was you could get a bargain or two, but Reddington's Rare Records.
Reddington's.
Was it the Discovery?
The Discovery, which was brilliant.
And you could get anything from the 60s in them shops.
You could. And the amount of stuff that used to hide out the back, which once you started going there, you got pretty friendly with them. They make you a cup of tea. As you probably remember, there was a little stereo in there. You could go and, have a cup of tea with them, find some records out the back, try them on the headphones, and used to come out with a stash of records at the time, some really good stuff.
So a young lad in 1984 as such, you could still live a life in the 60s.
You could, yeah.
You suited, booted, you got the music.
You got everything around you. It was really good. As I say, shoes were a problem, but the rest of it was all pretty much there, really, which was good.
So there was never any temptations for you to change from your modern world?
No, I think I always knew where I wanted to be, and the first thing I remember as a mod, seeing a mod, was in the back of a Mini on the way back from Sainsbury's in Northfield. I saw a guy on a scooter. I can't remember if it was a Vespa or Lambretta, but all I remember seeing him, he had Parker on, and I remember the chrome on his scooter, and he was right behind us. We were waving out the back window, and I just thought, I want to do that, and that's what sort of set me off. And I just thought, yeah, that looks really good. I'm going to do that.
And what was your first scooter?
My first scooter was actually a black PX125. I wasn't actually allowed to have a scooter till I was 18 because I had very strict parents. So I was more into going and buying clothes than the scooter side of it, although all my friends had scooters. I used to go on the back of them. But first scooter was a black PX, which after 2 days I was knocked off and nearly lost both my legs.
Bloody hell.
So, but I got straight back on scooters more or less a year later. I thought, well, it wasn't my fault, and I was young, brave. I thought, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to carry on doing it, and I did. So now I've had about 40 odd scooters over the years.
Wow. And as a young lad wanting everything, as in the music, the fashion, the scooter.
Yeah.
Things weren't cheap, were they?
No, they weren't cheap. And I was lucky enough to have a really good job at the time. I got taken on in a upholstery factory in Tyseley, and we were earning probably about £300 a week, which was really good,
in the 80s?
Money in the 80s.
Wow.
Which was really good money. So we'd work, me and my friend Sean, we would work Saturday morning. We'd come out with £60 in a brown envelope, all these things that happened years ago. And obviously have our wages in, so that was a bonus. So then we go straight into town. We go straight to the tailors on Her Street, and then the Discovery, which had come out with Graham Bond albums, Jimmy Smith albums, and all sorts. So it was a really good time.
So you was living the life
good.
then on
Well, it's living the dream.
£300 a week.
Living the absolute. I don't think my dad was keen on me earning £300 a week and having suits made, and I think there was probably a bit of jealousy there early. But yeah, I had a good collection of clothes, which I was very lucky.
So we're talking like 45 years ago as such. And have you been a model all the way through, or have you come out the scene?
I say, to me, it's an individual thing. I always see myself as being individual, not always being massively part of the scene from a certain period. I sort of stood back from it all for a while, but in your mind and everything, you're still the same person. You know, once you're into something, you love it. You don't stop thinking, and you're always thinking, you know, what can I do next? You know, what record can I buy next? And so I've always been into it.
I can remember as a lad having a parka and the pin badges on.
Yeah.
And I can remember one badge which sticks in my mind. It says, "Once a mod, always a mod. Mods for life," and it's pretty true.
It is true. I think even if you change your dress sense, it's still in your mind, and you still know what you like. It can be in that position where you can't afford to do that anymore, or other reasons. You know, you sort of step back, but it's still always in your mind.
Because for most people growing up, it's a changing process anyway.
Yeah.
So you've gone from your youth, which you live up, whether you're as a skinhead or a mod or whatever.
Yeah.
But then most people sort of get family orientated and bring up the kids, and that's a costly process.
Very costly, yeah.
But so you put some of your likes on the back foot to live that part of your life.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, what I've found, obviously more people, families have grown up.
Yeah.
People are getting pensions, people are getting more money.
Yeah,
and they're living their life again.
Yeah.
They're living their life again.
Yeah. Which, that's, I always think, you do it how you want to do it. Personally, I'd have more suits and things like that made, and I'd wear one every day. I just love to look smart, and that's what it's about, looking good.
So being in the mod scene that long, obviously in the Midlands area, you obviously grew up with a lot of like-minded people. You got into the music scene yourself?
I did, yeah. And I always say most of all my friends are my heroes, and
oh, thanks.
And when but I just remember when I was, say, 15, and we used to go to a place called the Turk's Head in Newtown,
yes,
which was a really great little pub. And obviously I was younger, and seeing these people coming in, and God, they were really smart, sharp people, and I didn't have a clue, where they're getting these clothes from, where they're getting these records from. And I asked the DJ to do me a tape on a Woolworths 90-minute cassette tape, and it was just full of, at the time, there was a lot of jazz, Latin music, as well as the soul. And I just knew then, that's me. I really like that. I love this music, and it goes so well with all the smart clothes, and it's one of the best things I've ever done.
It is it's
brilliant.
The scene itself, I mean, once you get that bug,
it's there.
It doesn't matter where you are, what you do.
Can't, even if you wanted to change, you can't. No.
So you've lived this life for a long time. So how does it compare trying to live a mod life now, as to opposed to being 16 and you didn't care? It was just.
If anything, I think it's probably not as big as what it used to be, but it's nice because as you get older, you don't need to be here, there and everywhere and going out every weekend and doing all these things like you did, hanging around the streets when you were young. it's a nice thing to like sort of mature as well, and just naturally mature, but still be able to go places where there's like-minded people. You know, we go to places like don't really go back to Birmingham much, to be honest, anymore. But we go to London a lot. We meet friends there. You've got mods there. You've got skinheads. You've got people into the rockabilly scene, and it's nice now that all these people are sort of. Whereas years ago we'd fight, you know, over stupid things. It's just nice now. Everybody gets on. Good music. All the music blends in the people. It's really good. I like it now.
It's key to what you really just said, like to be fair. You said when we was kids we was hanging out on the street corners.
Yeah.
We had no choice, did we?
No.
I mean, you couldn't take a gang of kids up to your bedroom.
No, you couldn't. No. I couldn't anyway. I wasn't allowed to do that. But...
So we sort of hung around on street corners and then...
making nuisances.
Moved on to cafes and things like that. But it was finding a place where like-minded people could hang about. Yeah. And as you say, now we've matured, there are specific clubs and where people can do such things.
But growing up in Birmingham, it was amazing. I loved it. And I'll still say to this day, we had an absolutely superb mod scene in Birmingham. People from all over the country used to come to Birmingham. The big do's, the events they were incredible. They were brilliant, and that's down to great DJs from all over the country used to come, and still people DJ now, still on the scene and doing things. Heroes, you know, absolute heroes.
And
really are.
You touched on different subcultures. Your partner's a different subculture to yourself.
Yeah, she is. She's into the skinhead girl scene, and she likes all the ska, all the Trojan stuff, and soul as well. And she has to like things I play as well. But yeah, and you know, she's sort of changed my life a lot. Yeah, she means the world to me. She knows that. And she sort of pushed me to go out and do more things as well, and gave me a lot of encouragement to start being me and looking smarter again, and just playing music and just going out and having a good time again. We did some great things, you know.
And you still go to events and rallies?
Don't really do rallies anymore, to be honest, but we do events and things like that. I mean, I go to places like Scooterists and things because obviously, you know, doesn't want to go to all sort of mod events, and you know, we both sort of blend in, and it all blends in together now. You know, the skinhead scene are very smart people as well, very knowledgeable with their clothing, the music, and it just blends in now. It's really nice.
Evolved from mod.
Exactly, yeah.
The early 60s, the late 60s skinheads.
I mean, why wouldn't you get on? You know, we all wear the same cut suits and shirts and things like that now. And no, it's really nice. Some great people on that scene. Really friendly.
And moving in the circles you do, you've become a bit of a DJ yourself.
Yeah, I used to do some years and a long time back in Birmingham. I used to put on a few events and things. Not massive events, but I used to do the odd DJ spots for people. But obviously, in the lockdown and through various reasons, I ended up in Breen, and I just thought, you know, I'd sold all my records, so now I'm building them all back up again. I was DJing with 6 singles in the lockdown at first, and then
playing the B-sides as well.
B-sides as well, and people said, you know, look how happy you look playing music again. You love it, and you've got to do it again. You've got to, and I just went from there and just thought, yeah, I have got to. And I did a bit of a naughty thing in the lockdown. I went and got me DJ decks from my best friend's house. Came back, and I'd left all my LPs at his house as well. So it was like a new world. I got all my LPs back. I'd sold all my 45s, but I had got my LPs back, and I was playing soul, jazz, everything ska.
Isn't that an amazing feeling when you drop on records incredible. That you haven't seen for years and years and years, and it's like amazing. It's like Christmas.
You forget what you've got, and you
think, amazing.
Oh God, look, I've got that. I've got to play that. I've not played that for about 10 years or more.
Just to touch the picture sleeves, and it's like so many memories flood back just through that bit of vinyl.
And just as you say, reading through them covers, and I'm a big fan of Kent soul albums. I think they were incredible, especially when you're younger, of building a good collection up. You could buy a Kent album. Nearly every track on that album was like a great tune, great dancer, or just a great ballad soul tune. Incredible. Great label.
And that leads us up to today. What you got going? You got Mr. Kicks. Tell us about Mr. Kicks.
Yeah, Mr. Kicks started off as it was me on my own, and then I got other people involved. But it was called Lockdown Boogaloo before, and I used to be up for about 7 hours DJing on my own, having a few drinks. Obviously, I was living in the pub at the time.
So where would people watch
pub.
this? What was it on?
It was all Facebook online, and it was I know it was a really bad time, the lockdown, but I got a few problems and I came back, and music sort of was sorting me head out with everything. And what a great way to sort yourself out through music. And Mr. Kicks just carried on. I think we've been going about 5 years now. So we changed from Lockdown Boogaloo. Had a bit of a disagreement with somebody that was DJing for me, and then I sort of knocked that on the head. And then I always wanted to start a club called Mr. Kicks Club, which was one of my favourite jazz tunes by Oscar Brown Jr. That was my mission. So the next day I'd got Mr. Kicks Club up and running, got different DJs involved. We was getting sometimes about 100 people listening in. And I was probably drunk, but it was like going out. You know, you put some nice clothes on, have a drink. You'd got all your mates on the phone. You could see all coming up, commenting. It was really good.
And it's still going today.
It's still going today. I don't do it as often as I used to now, probably once every fortnight or once every 3 weeks. But it's still important to keep things like that going.
Music's the sort of thing you can...
For my own sanity.
Definitely. Music, you can lose yourself and find yourself in 3 minutes.
You can.
What amazing!
Yeah.
What amazing!
Just 3 minutes of a great track can totally change your day. You know, it's like, wow, I'm gonna have a good day.
So as a mod boy who started in the city,
yeah,
we're now, if you don't know it, we're actually at the seaside, which is
we are
I
in
love
sunny
being at the
Somerset.
seaside.
Yeah.
The difference?
It's just a different way of living. I think it's nice, you know. Whereas years ago, I used to like going out at, say, you could go out at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You could go into Digbeth in Birmingham, knock on somebody's door, and go and get a drink and see your friends. Whereas you can't do that here. But I don't think I'd want to do that anymore. I just like the life and here, and you know, we see some really good people coming here. We've made good friends here. There's another mod who lives down the road, John. He's a nice guy. He's got a Lambretta as well. So we meet up every so often. We get the local scooter club that goes to my family's pub, Somerset Scooter Crowd. They're a nice bunch as well. But we tend to, when everybody comes here for the holidays, we tend to go further out because it can get a bit busy.
I suppose that's the thing, living at the seaside as well.
Yeah,
you see it every day. But to the inlanders as such, it's like a big thing to come to the coast, and they all go crazy. Yeah,
I mean, we're close to Bristol. It's no problem for us to get a train to go to London, go to events in London.
And Wales, Cardiff.
And Wales, yeah. I mean, there's so much that we haven't been to, but Bristol is not far. We've been to things in Bristol, like rhythm and blues nights and things like that, and see your old mates you've not seen for... got about 20, 30 years, which is, it's like, God, are you still around? It's a bit like that.
Well, it sounds like you
It's
found
nice,
yourself
it's lovely.
again, and it sounds like you're enjoying life again.
Do you know what? It's down to music and a good woman and good friends.
What a fantastic cocktail.
All heroes, you know. It's brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Look after yourself.
And you.